Okay, so one of the first things that we're gonna do before we measure an angle is we're gonna look at the angle and determine what type it is. Remember, there's 3 types. Who remembers what they are? 3 types. Jack, give me one.
Can I do all 3?
Well, just tell me one, buddy.
Right angle.
Okay, there's a right angle, which is how many degrees?
90.
Exactly 90, and it looks like this, where you can draw a straight box in it. Okay, Charlie, give me another one. Obtuse. Tyler, what does obtuse mean? Okay, it's bigger than 90 degrees. Greater than 90. So something like this. And that would be the measure of the angle. And there's one more, Liam.
Cute. A very cute angle.
That means what? What does it mean, Colton?
Means that it's less than 90 degrees.
So something like that. Okay. So what would we classify or call this angle before we measure it? Bailey? Obtuse. Because we know that it extends past 90 degrees. So when I'm looking at my protractor, I'm going to be looking for a number that's greater than 90 degrees. I also know that this angle starts here and it goes all the way up. So it looks like my measurement is right here between 110 and 100. So what would that measure be?
105.
Yeah, 105 degrees. Tyler, why would it not be 75 degrees? Why would it not be 75 degrees? Yeah, because we know it's an obtuse angle and it has to be greater than 90 degrees. Uh-huh.
Are we going to be able to use the protractors?
I will tell you a secret. On FSA, they will not give you a question where you have to use a physical protractor, but it might give you a question that looks something like this with a protractor already drawn. Okay? Okay. Let's go to number 2. Noah, what type of angle is number 2 before we measure it? Acute.
It is 50 degrees.
Okay. So we know it's going to be less than 90. So we're going to put our protractor down like this. You see how this black line is lined up perfectly with the baseline? So when I say baseline, I'm referring to this line right here. Can you see where I'm drawing with the blue pen?
Yes.
Okay. So when I'm talking about baseline, I'm talking about this. And I want this line on my protractor to be lined up with my baseline so I get a correct reading. And so my arrow goes up, and Noah says that this angle is 50 degrees. Do you agree?
Yay.
Yes. This is an acute angle with a measure of 50 degrees. We learned yesterday that a half a circle is how many degrees?
108.
Okay, so if I asked you to find the measure of angle X means we don't know what the name of it is, but we know that this part over here is 50. How could I find what x is? Charlie?
You subtract 185 by 50.
Yeah. 0,
So subtract
3, 1. So the measure of x is 130 degrees. Because again, this whole thing is 180, and we know part of it. We know this part, which is 50. So we subtract the difference of 180 and 50 to find that the measure of angle x is 130. Okay. Jack?
Can we do some of them on the board?
I'm trying to do them on our paper, so everybody is drawing on their paper and using their protractors on their paper. It's kind of hard to use our little protractors up on the blackboard. Bailey?
I didn't get all of what you put on number 1.
Okay, just catch up with us right now. Did you get what, number 2?
Yes, I got
Okay.
number 2.
Okay, flip to our backside. Show me 3 when you are ready for number 3. Okay. This looks a little tilted on your paper, but don't be afraid to move it around so it makes it a little bit easier on your brain to measure, okay? So it's that same thing like on FSA, if you need to move around your test paper because it helps you see something a little bit better, do it. So before we look at this angle, what kind of angle do you think this is, Liam?
It's in a cube
Okay, you're correct. Why is it an acute angle?
because it's less than 90 degrees.
Okay, so we're gonna use our protractor. Before I even put my protractor down, I know that I'm looking for a number that is less than 90. So I put my protractor down. I need to line up my baseline, which is right here. And my line doesn't match, or my ray of my line doesn't match, so I can draw it up to better help you, like that. And now we're looking for a number that's less than 90. So would it be 105? No, it would be 75. 75 degrees. This is an acute angle. Yes.
I think you tilted it wrong. I think it's something else. I think the paper needs to be like this because I don't think a right angle is like, you know how the bottom line is like that way? I think the bottom line has to be that way. So I think the line that is going up is actually the baseline and the other line is the...
Okay.
That would be 105.
So let's measure it. It's still right here. It's still an acute angle. But what's our measurement? It's not going to be 105. It's still going to be 75. That's a good question, Noah. So it doesn't matter if you take this as a baseline or this as a baseline. We're still measuring the angle between, and it's still 75.
I'm getting like 8. I'm getting 76.
Okay, we'll like smidge it over just a little bit. 75, very close to 76.
Ms. Grinnell.
Is okay.
No.
Okay. Bailey?
I know what the angle is on 4.
Okay, show me. Okay, before we move on to 4, give me a thumbs up if you're good with 3. Give me a thumbs down if you want me to go over 3 again. Okay, let's look at number 4. So number 4 it kind of throws me off a little bit when I first look at it because our angle is like this. It's on the side. So what could I do to get a better measurement of this? What do you think, Miss Bailey?
You turn your paper like this.
Yeah, you can turn your paper. Ah, that makes more sense. Okay, before we put our protractor down to measure this, Dakota, what kind of angle is this? Acute, right, or obtuse? Obtuse. So I know when I put down my protractor, I'm looking for a number that is greater than 90. Okay, put my protractor down. I'm lining up my baseline. My angle starts here and it opens up, so I'm looking for a number that's greater than 90.
You mean acute?
So it looks like my angle is a measure of 130 degrees. 130 degrees. I know it's an obtuse because if I drew this line like this and we were talking about this here, what kind of angle is this that I just drew? A right angle, which is 90 degrees. And the angle opens up and it measures way past 90 degrees, so I know it's obtuse and it has to be 30.
Oh yeah, I didn't look at that part. Also, I'm pretty sure it'll be 135.
Put your protractor down. We gotta line up our lines right here. Make sure that your baseline is lined up right with the black line on the protractor. Protractor.
But it's getting 135.
Hold on, let me. Okay. This is what kind of shape?
A triangle.
Triangle. How many angles are we measuring? 3. Okay. If you are a girl, I want you to measure angle A. If you are a boy, I want you to measure angle B, and then we'll do C together. Go ahead. Measure and let me know what you get. Remember, you may need to turn your paper to get a correct measurement to help you. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, so girls, we needed to measure angle A first. So what did you get? If you measure angle A, I know it is an acute angle. Tyler, what'd you got, girl? Okay, well, help me with mine. I'm measuring here. I'll do the highlighter. Okay, I'm going to measure here. I'm measuring this angle for angle A, okay? So I'm going to take my protractor, put it over there, make sure my baseline is lined up. And if I go all the way up here, what would it be, Tyla? So it's less than 90. It's an acute angle, so it would be 80. Good. So 80 degrees. Okay. Jack, what did you get for angle B? 60. Okay, let's check it. Okay, Jack says it's an acute angle and he got 60 degrees. So I'm gonna put my protractor down. Make sure it's all lined up. Do you guys agree with Jack that this is 60 degrees? Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's do C together. Make sure it's super lined up. What would be the measure of C? Would it be 40 or 140? What kind of angle is that? Acute or obtuse? Acute, because 90 degrees would be here, right? So, would it be 40 or 140? 40. Good job, Kylea. 40 degrees.
Why are they all acute angles? Because it's a cute triangle.
It is an acute triangle. Good vocabulary. It says draw a ray to show 70 degrees. So we already know that this is going to be an acute angle because it's less than 90. So I'm going to